Disclaimer. The Joe Mobley Show aims to be suitable for all viewers. However, mature topics are discussed. Minors should always obtain a parent's permission before viewing. Families are encouraged to watch together and engage in meaningful follow-up conversations. While the content is for informational and entertainment purposes only, it is not intended as professional advice or services. This show does not constitute medical, legal, financial, relationship, or other professional advice. If you require assistance in any of those areas, please consult with a qualified professional. Some viewers might find information, opinions, and terminology used offensive. The Joe Mobley Show is not intended to offend, but rather to inform and entertain. We do not seek to intentionally offend. However, we do scrutinize various events, ideologies, and opinions through a particular worldview. The thoughts, opinions, and beliefs of any host, personality, or guest of the show are solely representative of the individual espousing them and do not represent the Joe Mobley Show or any other individual, organization, company, or group. No one is making you watch or listen. So, there's that.
Welcome back to The Joe Mobley Show. I'm Joe Mobley, your host, still the original uncloseted conservative, and this is the last show of the year with my, I can't think of a word, illustrious, famed, outrageous, outspoken co-host, outspoken Samantha. Samantha, how are, oh, look at us. We're like, yeah, I gotta fix myself and probably zoom you out just a scotch.
Sorry.
There we go. That was funny. How are you?
Well, I'm fighting a bit of a cold, and that didn't help. So.
Oh no. For the first time in like 6 or 8 weeks, I am not sick. So
Yeah, it's I'm not too bad. It's just a little bit of a cough, but sorry, seeing the completely uneven images just made me laugh. That just cracked me up. So
yeah,
it's all good,
funny.
but it's good to be back. It's been like a month since
I
we've done a show.
know, for sure. Well, the company that I work for reasons that I haven't asked and don't care to really understand, they start their fiscal year on December 1st. So all of I feel like all throughout my career, it's always been the government's fiscal, which starts October 1st, or regular calendar year, which starts January 1st. Doing all of your first month kickoff crap like right in between the two major holidays is ridiculous. Like this month has been so stressful, and yeah, anyway. Yeah, so
I believe it.
That's why I've been light on the Joe Mobley Show and travel, and we went to Charlotte for a baby shower, and we've got more travel to do, and like my freaking head's gonna explode. 2 more work days for this guy, and then I am off until the new year.
Love it. I love that for you.
How have you been? Other than
I'm all right. I'm trying to figure out if I want to look tan or I'm like, what is going on with my lights? You would think every single time we do this, you would think this is like the first time I've ever used my lights.
Same, 100%. Just the tiniest little move. So I'm gonna have to adjust all my shots because my tripod, thankfully didn't fall over, but like one of the legs was like earlier today, so I had to reposition it. So now my camera's moved. So every time I hit one of the buttons, I'm gonna have to fix things. Oh,
yeah, you would never know that we've been doing this for like a year, 2 years. Who knows? At this point, we always seem like first timers every time we walk on.
Can I just say, and I know we're a long ways away from here, but can I just say that I long for the days where there'll be like a producer who presses buttons and changes scenes. I'm not sure that I need to use a teleprompter because, I mean, it's like bullet point notes.
Yeah.
But just I kind of long for a day where we can show up and look into the camera and smile and talk, and that's it. And someone else is doing lights and this technical crap and getting all the assets on screen.
Yep. I long for that day as well. I don't know how soon that day is coming, but until then, it's hard, as you have experienced when you're just like a one person show and you're not an expert in every single area that needs to be covered. There are some aspects of the show that are going to really be done well, and others, for me, particularly when it comes to tech issues, that are going to fail miserably almost every time. So it's a struggle. It's like I would love to have people in different areas that are just great at their things, and I don't have to try and like manage everything. But it is what it
Yeah.
is, and we do it because we love it, right?
I thought we did it because we were sadist.
No, I was trying to have a little bit of holiday cheer.
Yeah. Well, speaking of holiday cheer, Merry Christmas, everyone. And
Especially if it offends you to hear that phrase. Merry Christmas to you twice.
Merry Christmas twice. Hey, you know what's funny? So Happy Holidays doesn't get on my nerves. I'm cool with it.
Mm-hmm.
But if Merry Christmas offends you, you're just a douche. You are Karen, or you are whatever the male version of a Karen is. I have no Chad. I don't know. Like, yeah, Happy Holidays doesn't offend us. For you to say it, but for us to say Merry Christmas, it shouldn't offend you. We're speaking about a very specific holiday. I'm not wishing you a happy Thanksgiving at the moment. I'm not wishing you a happy New Year at the moment. I'm wishing you we could go European and say Happy Christmas. If that makes you feel better. I think it tastes gross to say that. So it's Merry Christmas. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. I will have to say that Xmas offends me a little bit, but not to the point where I'm going to like tell people they can't say it. It's like, okay, you do you, but it does bother me.
The wildest thing, when I was a kid, I thought Xmas was totally apolitical. I thought it was just a way of abbreviating a very large word.
Yeah.
And then I become a teenager, I become a Christian. That's when I find out about that aspect of the culture, cultural conversation. And I was like, hold the freaking phone, because I swear that, well, I don't swear, but I'm sure that where Xmas came into my vernacular was in public school. I think it was Long Island schools or maybe Alexandria when we had moved to Virginia. Very interesting. So lots of things to jump into. I want to say hi to some chat folks really quickly. Good evening, Adam Ant. Glad you're here. Marcus Hibdon. I can't read. It's my blackness. Marcus Hibdon over on Outspoken Samantha channel. Glad you're here, brother. Speaking of Outspoken Samantha channel, while you guys are here, after you've already liked and shared and subscribed and all that to my channel, please head over to Outspoken Samantha. The link is below. You can buy her a coffee. You can buy me a coffee. You can, I don't know, stimulate the economy with your e-commerce purchases here. The Joe Mobley Show is in the chat. That's me. Hello, self. Glad you're here and alive and not sick. Good evening, Vengeful Truther. Now that's just a good name. I'm gonna put that on screen. The Vengeful Truther. Scott. Okay, you guys are killing me. Scott Jarentowski. Merry Christmas from Oklahoma, Scott. I lived in Lawton for 6 years back in the day, down in old Lawtown. And Robert Brooker, glad you're here. Chris Jones, welcome in. Glad you're here. Merry Christmas, everybody. Speaking of Christmas, I just think this is the coolest little thing. It wasn't on the show planner. But I think this is just the coolest little clip from Peanuts,
Aw.
hashtag Charlie Brown. But if you've not seen a Charlie Brown Christmas, Charlie Brown is having the worst time. He's feeling all down, and he thinks it's because he doesn't have a sense of belonging or he doesn't have the presents that he wants. And the show actually opens with him not receiving any Christmas cards or well wishes or any of those types of things. And it kind of, you guys know, Charlie Brown was a little bit of a drama queen. But anyway, he's on this journey to find out the true meaning of Christmas, and Lucy makes him the producer or the director of their Christmas play to lift his spirits, and he's gone and done it because he had one job. She said, you leave, I'll handle the rehearsal, you go pick up a beautiful, fabulous Christmas tree, and he leaves with Linus and comes back with this monstrosity of a tree, which everyone has come to know and love. But this is what transpires after the Christmas tree failure.
I guess you were right, Linus. I shouldn't have picked this little tree. Everything I do turns into a disaster. I guess I really don't know what Christmas is all about. Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about?
Sure, Charlie Brown. I can tell you what Christmas is all about. Lights, please. And there were in the same country shepherds, abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them. And the glory of the Lord shone round about them. And they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not. For behold, I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. You shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God, and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men.
And there you have it.
That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown.
The true meaning of Christmas, and that's taken right out of Luke chapter 2 for you eagle-eyed theologians out there. And just for fans of Peanuts, this is an interesting fun fact. So Linus has had his blanket taken from him. He's been swung by it, by other characters and Snoopy. He's had it, cut in half and destroyed by the one kid trying to do the magic show. I think that was Charlie Brown, actually. But he puts it down twice throughout all of Peanuts, and it's in this same episode. At the end of the episode, he puts it down to be the, what's that thing called? The tree skirt or whatever, the thing at the bottom of the Christmas tree. But the first time that he puts the blanket down, his little beloved blanket, is when he says, behold, the angel of the Lord says, behold, and is going to say a child is born, which is Jesus right here. And that the camera pans out to show that he's just talking about Jesus. It's kind of an interesting little peanutty-do. So there you have it, guys. Luke chapter 2, the birth of Jesus. He starts in verse 8. But how cool is that? Like, we've come so far as a society that this was Charlie Brown. Peanuts is like super mainstream. And to have that much airtime taken up by a character reciting scripture versus now we've got WAP and we've got like blood and sex and murder and every debaucherous thing under the sun is all of TV. I turn on Amazon Prime, I turn on Hulu, and every show begins, and that little write-up at the top left, it'll be like nudity and language and drug use and this and that, and I'm just like, holy moly. I don't watch stuff with nudity in it myself. I know a lot of you do. Stop asking me if I've seen Game of Thrones. I'm not going to watch it. It seems a tad bit pornographic, so...
Nope, never got into that myself. No, I completely agree. No, and I appreciate that Charlie Brown Christmas special is still one of my favorite Christmas movies. I still watch it every year. Another one that I really like is the And it doesn't have the same focus on the savior, but I still just like the vibe of it. Is the Sesame Street Christmas from like 1970 with Mr. Cooper. They have Big Bird who, loses Santa Claus. And I mean, just these like really, these older shows that just really had the right messaging and the right vibe, and we didn't have to worry about what was going to be in the content of it. They didn't have to have warning labels. We didn't have to worry about some kind of like subliminal messaging. It was just family entertainment, which I know is just such a strange concept these days and open to interpretation apparently. But yeah, the Charlie Brown Christmas one is still my favorite by far. But I could totally ruin it because I just had some thoughts about Charlie Brown that I've never had before, if you guys are interested.
Fire away.
Oh my God. So Charlie Brown, like he has like one job, like go get a Christmas tree. And he picks out this Christmas tree that's little more than like a weed. And he gets back and he can't understand why he screwed up. It's like, and he's like, I mess everything up. And it's like, Charlie Brown, like you realize that this is like a character trait that you have. Why don't you try to do better? And he thinks that people are mad at him just because he's Charlie Brown. And it's like, no, we're mad at you because all you had to do was pick a tree and you picked the worst possible possibility. There's like no accountability at all.
Now, point for Charlie Brown. And Lucy specifically told him to get an aluminum, like a shiny aluminum tree. So all of the trees are like dung, 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 like they're made out of metal. So he did get the only real tree there. But still, yeah, this tree's a total flop. And then at the end, we watched it like an hour ago. So I don't just have this all in my mind all the time, guys. But my family watched this literally at like 7 or so.
Yeah.
But anyway, so at the end when they decorate it, it turns into like a beautiful full Christmas tree. It's like, what?
If that's not happening to your Christmas tree every year, I don't know what you're doing wrong. But and I do appreciate that he gets the only real tree, and I understand the message, and it all like works out beautifully. But it's just a few things about Charlie Brown and his character. I'm just like, you could own up a little bit, Charlie. Like you keep doing things that are like not great. You're just making poor choices.
Yeah, Precision Rifle Network on Rumble. Yes, this is such a great Christmas movie. So if you guys haven't seen it, I don't know where you've been. Our Christmas, but yeah, check it out. Our Christmas season, Christmas movies, kind of our December Christmases. Every Christmas Eve, we watch Polar Express. We try to watch it earlier in December as well, so it's not just the once. I really like, it's a little bit of a newer one, and I've only seen it maybe twice, but I really like the movie The Man Who Invented Christmas, which is about Charles Dickens writing A Christmas Carol, and he's kind of, at this point in his career, he's had one or two like hits, but he's a little bit of a struggling author because like his home's in danger and he's over leveraged and blah, blah, blah. And, he's kind of being haunted and tormented by his relationship with his dad, and his dad's kind of a swindler and all this stuff. Yeah. And it all comes to him, and he's having the interactions with the characters in his head while he's writing. I almost said the Great American Novel. Obviously, Charles Dickens is not American, but you guys, the thing. Do you guys have Christmas movie traditions?
We definitely watch Polar Express, but we grew up reading that story. I don't remember if we read it every Christmas Eve.
Must be nice to be white and to be able to read.
Yeah. Yeah. If you ever need help with that, I can like Skype in, or not Skype. Who uses Skype? Zoom in and read a story for you and your family. No, but your wife can handle that. It's great. We would read Polar Express. We read the Christmas story out of the Bible every Christmas Eve. As far as movies, though, I mean, I have to watch Lampoon's Christmas Vacation every year. And I actually had it on the other day. we used to have like the clean version of it. I don't know what happened to it. So of course there are things that I have to fast forward through because my older boys especially were watching it. But now they understand what I'm saying every time we sit down at the dinner table, and I'm like, we have to say the blessing. Because before they just looked at me like I was crazy, and now they understand where it's coming from. But yeah. And then of course White Christmas with Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye.
Okay, this is 90 seconds. Okay, so maybe I don't know. This isn't gonna get us in any trouble. This is I have uncontrollable laughter every time I watch Tim Allen try and eat this fruit. But Christmas with the freaking Cranks, when he's got the Botox, and I'm gonna play this little.
They take a big needle and inject it into your forehead, and it freezes your face like this. I read it in a health magazine.
And how long are you going to be like this?
Well, this is temporary. And then you got all your wrinkles gone. This is fun.
Yeah, well, you ought to get your money back. I can't live like this anymore.
When he tries to drink the water.
We can't go out. Everywhere we go, people are whispering behind our backs. I can't go home. It's too depressing. I mean, there's no tree, no lights, no
I
music.
love Tim Allen. All right, let's get the water. Where's the water? Oh.
Just one day, 24 hours, we'll be on that trip. And it's all going to be better.
Oh, man.
I promise.
I don't know.
Hey. Wait. Go to...
Anyway, so Christmas with the Cranks, I absolutely love it. It's I would watch this all the time if it were socially acceptable, but
I love it.
turns
Well,
out
and I just want to debunk the myth that Botox does that to your face. I think it freezes a few muscles, but you're not gonna lose total functionality of your face. So that's definitely extreme, but still hilarious. I was trying not to laugh because I've got this cold and I keep coughing, but yes, absolutely hilarious.
Oh no. Get out of here. Why is this not live? Okay. My Twitter video went back to the beginning.
Oh.
All right. Well, I guess we should talk about news. Before we do, where's the button? I'll use this one. Maybe? Yeah. All right. Before we do, make sure you go over to thejoemobley.com where you can subscribe, you can get on the mailing list, do a whole bunch of other stuff. There's different ways to support. Now, there's a community and all this other junk. I don't want to say all those things right now. There is no member-only show tonight, by the way. But you can get our Snarky merch. Snarky, I think is the word I was looking for. This is the latest drop. We've got more hats coming end of the year. The Uncloseted Conservative hat that I've been showing, that I'm literally wearing right now, will be available January 1st in several different colors. But yeah, I guess I'm going to have to take it easy on Joe Biden and cackling Kamala for a little while. Unless they show their faces again, then it's game on. The 1-star Joe Biden would not recommend. Maybe I'll take it down. Maybe I won't. But the big product push right now is for Donald Trump. 5-star would recommend. Because I think it's a little bit tacky to just wear a shirt that says, I voted for Trump. But yeah. All right. Now let's, Tim Allen. I freaking love Tim Allen. Okay. Oh, the Santa Claus. That's a good one. They get worse every one. The second one's a little bit worse, and the third one is just ridiculous. All right. So I've got the stories up in front of me, but I guess there were like two big pieces of news today. Someone tried to eliminate Nick Fuentes apparently a couple of hours ago. So that happened. But there's also the looming government shutdown. Or do we just dive in with I hate these stories.
I didn't know anything about the Nick Fuentes thing. And the government shutdown sounds like it's about it's something we talk about every year at this time of year anyway.
Yeah.
It's always on
Yeah.
the table.
Yeah, some dude showed up at Nick Fuentes' house. He had like, what did they say? He killed someone, or he shows up at Nick Fuentes' house. He's got like a crossbow and a pistol. He's like got a motorcycle helmet on. There's like footage of it. And unfortunately, this would be I don't know. I don't think Nick is important enough to say assassination. But this would be life canceller got deleted by the police. So, but
Wow.
also he took some animals with him. I guess he broke into neighboring houses and dispatched some dogs. So that's kind of sad.
Well, my question is, is Nick Fuentes like, do his political leanings, has that attracted the kind of response from the public where people are cheering? They were cheering for the guy that was trying to kill him, or cheering for Nick Fuentes?
Mostly for the guy that tried to kill him, which Tim Pool is calling. I hate this already. It's worth driving 40 minutes just to slap Tim across the face. He's calling this the Mangione effect. And so of course that's taken root on Twitter.
What is his argument for it being the Mangione effect?
That people actually on both sides of the aisle, just like with Brian Thompson and Luigi Mangione, are cheering on this violence against an individual. So because after Brian Thompson was killed, there was all this cheering about, we need to get rid of these evil, not embezzlers, these evil health titans, insurance titans. We need to do away with all of them. And it's like, no, targeted violence against individuals like this is pretty bad. We shouldn't be cheering for that. So then it almost happens to Nick, and there's more cheering. Which, if anything, it should probably be called the Crooks effect, because there was a lot of support for Thomas Matthew Crooks.
Yeah, I was just thinking, you guys remember back in July?
Yeah. No, that's already memory hold. But
yeah, I know.
I'm still hoping Trump's around, come Valentine's Day and all that stuff.
In about a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I disagree that it's the Mangione effect. Like, this is a new thing that was just inspired by a guy who took out the CEO of UHC just a few weeks ago. It's like, this has been going on for a while.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, like, that's a whole other situation. But yeah, cheering for political violence and basically saying there are certain people that it's okay to cheer for their demise and encourage people to go after them. Like, this has been going on for a while, guys, and it's not new, and it's disturbing no matter who it is. But yeah, I disagree with that take on it for sure.
Yeah. Tim Pool. Oh, there's also news that potentially Tim Pool is going to join forces with, and by join forces, I mean sell to the Daily Wire, which...
I don't know if that's a good idea.
It's all so interesting. Well, one, Tim Pool apparently can't run a business, so yes, he's much more successful than I in terms of money, not in terms of... I'm married and have 5 kids, so... Yeah, much more. And I think he's pregnant with a daughter. So in terms of legacy building, I'm doing much better. But yeah, my salvation is my soul is at peace and all those types of things. And I still have my hair, but I'm guessing in 10 years my hair will be looking like his. And that's okay. All right. Well, I kind of just didn't, I don't know. I don't even know if I felt like talking about this story. These stories are just so down in the dumps, but
depressing. But to be fair, when are they not?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, guys.
Don't come here to be uplifted.
Hey, we started with Luke. We started
That's true.
with the Christmas story. There's nothing more
You're
uplifting than mankind is so depraved you can't help yourselves out of anything. So God will come down in the form of a man and suffer our punishment because we're so terrible. Ah, I'm glad he did. Don't have to slaughter any goats or anything like that. And anyway, guys, if you haven't heard, and by now surely you did because this was on what, Monday? Let's see. Open you. Yeah, I want to say Monday. There was a school shooting in what, Madison, Wisconsin, at a Christian school, and it has all of the by now it's such old news that I'm not going to just detail everything that happened. I want to talk about some cultural elements that we should really focus our attention. So yes, this young lady, and I already said Thomas Matthew Crooks, but try not to name and glorify these killers. But this young lady, really truly young lady, she was 15 years old, and yes, was a biological female. Whatever's going on with identity issues, I guess, has not been settled so far as Twitter and the mainstream media are reporting. But she went to school and you guys don't need my calendar up here. How do I get rid of this? Well, yes, my son has a piano lesson tomorrow and we're getting our hair cut. All right, back to the news. Glad there's nothing embarrassing on there. Like, talk to the doctor about that weird thing on my... No, just kidding. Yeah, so I did think it was interesting that this girl went by Samantha, even though her name was not Samantha. So I don't know. Maybe
I saw that. I was like,
maybe girls named Samantha are crazy.
Generally.
Okay, so she shoots, I want to say 7 people, 2 that died on scene, a teacher and a student, and then 5 others that were sent to the hospital. And then, of course, everyone's always going on about the math of shootings. Do you count the... I don't get wrapped around the axle. She lost her life during this event as well. But what I want to talk about is this loser here. The police chief, who says this after the shooting.
Yeah, I don't know whether Natalie was transgender or not. And quite frankly, I don't think that's even important. I don't think that's important at all. I don't think that whatever happened today has anything to do with how she or he or they may have wanted to identify. And I wish people would kind of leave their own personal biases out of this. We have people who showed up to work today to help kids be better who are not going home. And we have lost members of our community who are children.
Okay, so that's enough of that. The only reason that this is being said, we don't know what motivated the individual. And he almost says this, but he doesn't. Mainstream media does say this. We don't want to rush to judgment about the motives of this crime. We don't want to miscolor this person's perceived intent or whatever. That only happens when it's something that doesn't suit the left's narrative, which is why you kind of have to shove it down their throats. If it were a white person committing violence against black people or any type of minority, ethnic or ideological or sexual minority, they jump to conclusions. Mm-hmm. All the time. And that's the focus. Sometimes they don't even focus on the firearms or the amount of people that were harmed. They will jump right to the motive and they'll say the hate crime thing, it needs to be at the top of the conversation, and then gun control right after it. And those two fight for first place. And the reason that we know this is because do you guys recognize these faces? 5-year-old Roman Mendez or 6-year-old Roman Mendez and 5-year-old Elias Wolford? Because both of these kindergartners were shot this month at school and didn't make the smallest of headlines. Wasn't mainstream media at all, because this gunman was motivated at a Christian school, Seventh-day Adventist, which I don't want to get into the different denominations of Christianity, but an anti-Israel gunman went in, which is to say pro-Palestine, which is also to say pro-Hamas, pro-genocide, and pro all this left-wing nonsense, went in and committed this violence and shot these 2 little boys. And the craziest thing is you can't really find out the disposition of these little boys. That is how hard the media push this story out of the headlines, because it makes them look bad, because they have pushed an anti-Israel agenda and it causes violence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. And actually listening to, I don't know if that was the police chief. I don't know. Doesn't really matter.
The black dude?
He's an idiot. He's an
Yeah,
idiot.
he was the police chief, yeah.
It actually kind of made me want to throw my microphone across the room when he was talking, because I am so tired of these people getting up there and pretending that what our kids are learning has no impact on why they do these things. It doesn't matter if they're a they, them. It doesn't matter how they identified. And we just had people that were coming to school today to help kids be better and all this. And it was a Christian academy, so in general, there's probably a higher level of education going on there, I would hope. But in general, we have so many kids learning things in education, in the public education system in general, that are making them hate themselves and hate the world and think that violence and, that political activism is the most important form of it's the best way that you can live your life. It's like the highest calling in life is your political activism, and all of the actions that you can take in favor of that, even if it's violence or death, is appropriate. And maybe that sounds a little bit extreme, but of course, this person, whether it's real or not, is alleged to have had a manifesto, which we've seen a few pages of. And if it's real, all it is, the first part of it especially is just talking about how much they hate the world, they hate themselves, they hate their family, they hate their parents, they hate everything. And it's like, stop dismissing what our kids are being exposed to. Stop pretending that doesn't have an impact, because that's the only thing that has an impact on these kids. Gun access hasn't changed. Access to weapons hasn't changed. The things that we are teaching our kids, what they are exposed to, what they are bombarded with, has changed. So I'm just tired of pretending that that's not a factor when that's probably like the only factor.
So glad you bring that up, because access to guns actually has changed. Guns used to be much more prolific. Gun ownership is higher in that Americans own more guns, but not necessarily. Lots of Americans have multiple firearms. Okay, guilty, probably guilty.
Yep.
Most of you in the chat, guilty. Okay, how many? Just one now, because I lost the rest in a tragic boating accident, which is what I get for going boating.
As one does.
But it used to be, guns used to be prolific. They used to be in the vehicles. There used to be gun racks. I'm old enough to remember when there were gun racks in vehicles at public buildings, at the grocery store, at the library, in the schoolyard. And I didn't live in Virginia at this time, but I had classmates who, I went to Indian River in Chesapeake for a year to play baseball, but, and that's not important. But there were kids there when they were young that there were gun racks in the teachers at middle school, and then even students. I don't know exactly how above board this was, but students would have gun racks in their cars in high school. And for an 18-year-old to have a rifle and all that stuff is fine, but on school property nowadays, forget about it. But the crime has gone up because it's not about the availability of guns. It's actually about what this article tries to talk about but doesn't. So this is a Daily Mail article talking about chilling social media post of Wisconsin Christian school shooter Samantha. No, just kidding. But they show images of her shooting with her dad. But I want to talk about her dad for a moment. Her parents are losers. They have failed the simplest, the most stripped down mission of being a person, of contributing to society. Both of them have had multiple marriages. I think one of them is on their 4th marriage and the other one's on like their 2nd or 3rd. This type of instability, this relativism, do what makes you feel good. And if I meet one more person, I might slap the next person who says that me and my ex are better divorced than we were together. I think I'm going to slap the next person that says that to me, because it's not true. It's not true. It is a lie. If I'm happy, then my children will be happy. There isn't a single piece of data anywhere in any study that's been conducted by anyone. You can pick the gayest or the most left-wing. You can pull up socialist agenda of the world studies brought to you by left-wing psychos, and even their data does not show that children are happier or have better outcomes when their parents are divorced, because they're seeing mommy thrive and they're seeing daddy free no, your children are freaking wrecked by that. Huge amounts of violence are committed by fatherless individuals, by individuals with step parents, by individuals who are some member of the alphabet soup community. And insofar as school shootings go, it's the single most potent data point. The single most potent data point is actually fatherlessness. Number 2 is LGBTQ ideology.
Yep.
Why is no one talking about that? When it's the attacker, we don't want to speculate. When it's the victim, this is a hate crime.
Yep. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously they use these things to, it's almost to make excuses for this type of behavior, that if they have, the alphabet soup ideology in their background, which I don't know if this girl did or not. Obviously they're still trying to figure that out. But there's never any accountability to that. It takes me back to when I was, going to these hearings and stuff when I was living in Denver, Colorado, and trying to talk about parental rights and whatnot. And that was kind of the first time I really realized, like, everything that you wanted to excuse in society that was meant to be destructive, as long as you attached it to the LGBTQ community, you couldn't criticize it. And in fact, you had to accept it and like praise it and encourage it. So it's like, this isn't about, trying to help people live their best life or their authentic self. This is really about the downfall of society and trying to instill the most destructive and depraved values in the next generation of kids, and then keeping us from being able to stop it by calling us bigoted if we have anything to say about it. And it's like, well, obviously I don't want to be called a bigot, so I'm not going to criticize it. And all that's done is created this like path forward for our kids to have this crap bombarded on them. And now on the flip side, when things, negative things happen as a result of it, it's like, well, that couldn't possibly be the cause of it. Like, it's just made such a mess of things.
Yep. And there's one bandwagon, and I know you've posted these things, so that's totally fine. It's a decent bandwagon to be on, but I'm not going to get on it, is the mental health thing. And unless we're talking about gender dysphoria and all of these other wackadoo sexuality things that are mental health issues until about 5 minutes ago, when psychologists decided to shred their credentials and experience and all of the literature of their field and say, oh, let's just wing it. But those things that we listed before, far more, we can't say causal, far more correlative than broadly speaking, mental illness. And nowadays, and we've talked about this on the show before, I don't trust so many mental illness diagnoses because they're made up. Oppositional defiance disorder, that's stupid. That doesn't make this illness is characterized by not wanting to be obedient to authority. That's called being a human.
Yeah.
Ever
My
heard
middle
of,
son.
Yeah. It's like, are you kidding? So
Right.
everyone has ODD and ADD, ADHD and all, but broadly categorized as these oppositional disorders. I'm like, no, that wanting your will, wanting the desires of your heart to be done, that's called base humanity. Okay.
Right.
And you are to conquer those things, whether you're a Christian or not. Marcus Aurelius wasn't a Christian. See, Christians, we say it's pursuing righteousness and we are trying to become more Christ-like. But for the rest of the world, virtue used to be something worthy of being sought. You wanted to be more patient, more kind. You wanted to be justice seeking and justice doing. You wanted to be regarded as honest and not a cheat. My word is my bond type of thing. And you'll notice that all of these things have been stripped away with the rise of mattress actresses and the rise of divorce and the rise of fatherlessness and the rise of, these guys that have 5 kids with, 5 different women. You start to see righteousness go by the wayside among the religious community. You start to see virtue go by the wayside among the non-religious community. That's what increases in violence is about. And it's because people lack impulse control. And I'm not going to say because this person lacks impulse control, they have some type of disorder. It's like, no, they didn't have a father. They didn't have discipline. They didn't have responsibilities thrust upon them. And they weren't told good job when they did a good job and bad job when they did a bad job. So now they're lashing out as an adult or as a teen with a firearm in their consequences don't really exist world, because that's what's being given to them. I don't think more Americans are truly mentally ill. And yes, we do need the thing that we need in mental health is to bring back institutionalizing people. Duh.
Yeah.
Like, they did away with the nut house, and now we have all these nuts out on the street. It's ridiculous. Okay,
I know.
Rant complete. I don't know if you want to touch on.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of the shooters are mentally ill, but a lot of them are immature. They're just acting out.
Well, and I think, because I completely understand what you're saying and I agree, I think when I say mental health, like, I don't mean the way that we've understood it in the past. Like, in my family, especially in the men in my family on my dad's side, like, depression runs in my dad's side of the family. Like, most of the men have it. Like, it's just kind of a thing that they're more susceptible to, whatever weight you want to give to that or not. It's just something that they seem to be susceptible to. But, we've had discussions about, in the past about things like depression and anxiety and whatnot. And those seemed like base level, like maybe somebody is more prone to being depressed or more prone to having anxiety. Yes. And I completely agree. Like, these diagnoses have gotten completely out of control. It's ridiculous. Like, as you said, oppositional defiance disorder, that's my 11-year-old to the core. And I am not about to give him a pill to try and fix it. Like, that's just
he's just
who
a
he
kid.
is.
Yeah.
He's a kid. He's got a completely different personality than my older son. My older son is just more chill, more, and I mean, why is it that my middle son, because he has a completely different personality, like, that he should be diagnosed with something because he's not a chill kid like his older brother? Like, We just have different personalities and different ways of handling the world. When I say mental health, I mean like societally imposed mental health. When you're teaching kids that they can pick their gender, and that if the society around them, the world around them, doesn't go along with them, you're like creating a mental health issue in them. When you're talking about violence constantly, or you're encouraging violence, as we saw all of these people celebrating the death of the UHC CEO, and saying that this was perfectly fine. When this is the world that our kids are growing up in, you're taking away their hope. You're taking away the things that would have driven them away from those things, and you're glorifying like the worst possible behaviors. And that to me is creating whatever you want to call a mental health issue, a problem, but not in the sense that we've, kind of understood it before in a more controlled context. It's like we're encouraging people to be mentally unstable, and we're glorifying it, and we're celebrating it. And the more we do that, the more we have these instances where people are like lashing out with a weapon, not just taking myself out of this world, but I've got to take other people out with me. It's almost like a badge of honor, and it's celebrated. So that's more what I mean by that.
It's very interesting because we used to talk so much trash about terrorists for using these tactics, and now, luckily we don't have a bunch of American suicide bombers, but we have a lot of American suicide gunmen out there. It's ridiculous. Just one, look, if you suffer from that type of ideation, do get help. But if you're just going to go off the deep end, just go off the deep end by yourself. It's yeah. I don't know. I don't know how else to say that. All right. So speaking of going off the deep end, I'm going to skip these stories. I'm going to do the media propaganda list last because I think it's fun. A little bit of an older tweet now because this is in the news constantly, but one, super weird that they keep putting images like this up of this guy. But I've watched hours of news coverage and content about him, his family. I've read a ton. I've gone way too deep into this guy's life, and it's just hard. It's just hard for me to believe that this went down the way it went down. I still maintain, like the last show that I did, I said, I am convinced that this gunman is a professional killer. This is a hitman. This is someone with the agency who is a tier 1 operator who's dispatched with many people. So much so that they can even work in planned malfunctions into their I'm a pretty hardcore dude, and I probably could not have executed Brian Thompson the way that the gunman did. Yeah, the hiding out, the whole thing, escaping the largest police force in the United States, like top 5 police forces in the world in terms of intelligence and capabilities and all that stuff, and the psychology. Again, I talked about this on the Thursday immediately after the shooting, but the psychology of it all, essentially returning to the area of the crime as part of your getaway plan. That is something a professional does. That is called tradecraft. You can read it in unclassified manuals about tradecraft and about seer and these types of things. Making more left turns than right turns. Again, psychologically, with human psychology, that's a very powerful thing to overcome. Is the resistance, depending on how your society is set up. And ours is set up to make right turns more easily. People often drive faster on right turns than left turns, with the exception of people that are left-handed. And I get it. Like, I'm a nerd. We don't need to talk about all of that. But this guy's precision, his planning, his getaway plan, and then the fact that NYPD reported, the news did, but NYPD reported that they found the backpack and that they found other articles of him, of the shooters, but then he had everything on him. Like,
yeah,
This guy is
He's-
supposedly brilliant, highly educated, very wealthy, powerful family. I would wager to guess that he probably has a very impressive IQ. And after escaping and getting multiple states away, he's just cruising around with all of the evidence, everything, handwritten manifesto, like everything to say, this is definitely the guy. It doesn't make any sense. What say you? Am I crazy?
No, no, I'm right there with you. I mean, when when I see photos like this, it's almost like did this guy study Ted Bundy? Like, because Ted Bundy was kind of into the theatrics and, getting his photo op and whatnot. And that's just, I don't know why. He just gives Ted Bundy vibes. But like in a very theatrical sense. Do I think that this guy specifically in the photo, Luigi Mangione, is the killer? No, I don't. Um,
He
I
did
don't know why.
reportedly study serial killers such as Bundy, actually.
Huh? He did? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and that
What-
would make sense to me, but I don't think that this is our guy. I don't know.
He doesn't even
I
look
don't
like the guy. He doesn't look like the guy in the surveillance footage.
I know. And I don't know why specifically he would be chosen to take the fall for this. I can't figure out like what is in his background, but the whole thing and I've been wanting to dive a little bit deeper into it because I think that there's far more to the story as far as like corrupt behavior by United Healthcare and insider trading. And I know I've heard things about Nancy Pelosi. So I think that there are a lot of background things that really, that we probably need to pay more attention to. But these photos, I think specifically are meant to be a distraction, to draw us to him specifically so that we're not paying attention to what this case is really about. So it's insane. Like, I am so just over the media. I am so over being manipulated. I am so tired of, we're watching all this like drone crap go on. We're watching just all of this
The
stuff like
drones.
unfold. And I'm like, stop messing with us. Like, can we not get an honest story anywhere?
Can I just say, like, the thing that's like hardest for me, the eyebrow thing. Look at how this guy obviously does not have a unibrow. This guy right here obviously does not have a unibrow. Also, his eyes and eyebrows are set further than Luigi let me find a better picture of Luigi, one at the front of his face, because this is something, just insofar as facial recognition goes, you cannot change the measurements of the fixed items on your face. The corners of your mouth, they're not moving. Your eyes, you can't get them farther or closer. They're fixed. Everyone understands this. And you know what? I wonder if there is a free version of some facial rec software that we can pull up and just put the physical features of their faces. Luigi Mangione.
Just a small, nothing to do with his face, but a detail somebody else pointed out was that the backpack he's wearing in this photo is white and the one that they caught him with was black.
Yeah. There are just so many issues with all of this. Oh, this photo's terrible.
The officers and Luigi in that photo look like they just left theater club. Like, it's just so over the top. I just, you can't believe anything anymore.
There are so many like crazy looking photos of him. I want one of his face relaxed. Just relax your face. Yeah, why did it? Oh, here we go. Oh, no, this is just super simply. Hey, this is our guy. I want them to, the photo on the left, I want them to superimpose, or I want them to recreate this angle and show us his face is that face, which I'm confident that they can't do because it's not it's not it's not the same guy.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No.
My Nick Fuentes video is on. Oh yeah, that tab just like came awake over here. So
Yeah. No, it doesn't look like him at all. And I can't figure out why specifically this kid has been, chosen as the face of the Brian Thompson murderer, but like I said, I am so tired of being messed with.
So I'm
so
gonna
tired.
retweet this right now. But this video, this chick who works in healthcare, she did like a deep sleuth dive into his family. She's got like his family tree, and she's got legal documents of theirs that she goes over in this 11-minute video. I don't want to watch it now. I've watched it twice already, but I just retweeted it. So if you guys want to, jump over to X and check it out, but maybe watch it on like 2 times speed because it takes a long time to get through. But yeah, I mean, this guy went to the best of schools. He went to the Gilman School outside of Baltimore, which cost roughly, this is 35. It's actually about $40,000 a year. And then what was he, Harvard educated after that? The whole thing is just, oh no, that's the Disney story. The whole thing just doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't. All right. I want to move on because I just thought that this was funny. Just thought this was a fun little thing. So, guys, in case you haven't heard, like, mainstream media is very likely like done. They can try and revive themselves a little bit, and Tim Pool keeps talking about this. I wish he would stop talking about this because I really don't want them to do this, especially since we're in this space. But the best use of mainstream media's money right now is to cancel all of their shows and to have individual YouTube channels of their best talent. And I'm talking like all those different organizations, like 10 to 12 people, not everyone, like Anderson Cooper and the Joys, maybe one person from The View, not all of those idiots. They need to just, if they use their budgets for marketing, social media and YouTube and other platforms, they would have ridiculously huge channels. They need to give up. They need to give up on the cable news route. But as they're losing power, I saw this from Gunther Eagleman, which is a great account to follow. But I thought, man, what a good list to just run through. Like, did you fall for any of these hoaxes? If you're out there in the chat, if you're out there in the chat and you fell for any of these hoaxes, just do the right thing and let us know so we can excoriate you. But yeah, we've got, you could just call any out.
If I fell for any of them, I mean, no, so far.
Yeah, I didn't fall for any either. But okay, so maybe we look at this differently. Because that's the question. How many recent mainstream media hoaxes did you fall for? I looked at the list. I didn't fall for any. But let's pull out the most ridiculous of these. I mean, top 5 up here. It's probably a tie between Jussie Smollett and the Bubba Wallace garage door pull that they said was a noose.
Yeah, those were both equally as ridiculous.
The Jussie Smollett one was comically ridiculous though, because it went down in Chicago, if I remember correctly, and it's like MAGA thugs walking the streets of Chicago at 2 a.m. No. The only people out in Chicago at 2 a.m. are like hardcore criminals, and they're not voting for Trump. I can tell you that right now.
Right.
It was comically bad. Dave Chappelle has like a whole like 10-minute bit about it. let's see. Now we've come full circle on Hunter Biden's laptop because Hunter Biden's laptop was totally not real. It was Russian disinformation. Now it is real, and Hunter's pardoned. So we've come full circle on that.
Yep.
I like to call out the Steele dossier because before the Epic Times had their whole beautiful mind map, I called bullcrap on the Steele dossier and Fusion GPS and the DNC back when I was in grad school, and I wrote a white paper about this, and it's published out there. GW published it. It's called something like FBI Attempt to Subvert Constitutional Processes.
I find that one, I don't know why, it's so fascinating because I mean all of these other ones, they were kind of, they were news stories in the moment. I think the Jussie Smollett thing is probably going to live until the end of time. I mean, that one's never going to die. People still meme about that. They still refer to any hoax now as like a Jussie Smollett like type hoax in the news. But the Steele dossier thing, the more that came out about that after, like who was behind it, the meetings that they had, even before the 2016 election even happened, as they were going to plan, the contents of this dossier, who it was going to come from, the purpose of it, meetings that they had between Biden and just everything that was intricate, the media involvement in it, the text messages between different news organizations. It was so intricate and so involved. And I mean, I know so many things have happened since the Russia collusion hoax and the Steele dossier, but that went on for years. And I think it's just baffling to me, but I mean, ever, I don't know if it was since then, but I think our eyes have just been opened to how much our government has really, really messed with us over probably the last 200 years and how many things have really been fabricated. It's just, that's just like the most modern and most recent version of events. But that one just blows my mind.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Like that whole thing is a lot. And no one's been called to carpet. No one's been held responsible. And because of it, a lot of the Hillary Gate with the email servers and the acid washing and all of this ridiculousness, blowing up the emails and the phones and stuff, which is a federal crime, 6 ways from Sunday. A lot of that came out because of the Russia collusion and the Steele dossier investigation. But Kash Patel, so glad Kash Patel is going to be the director of the FBI, by the way. But he's got the right take about it because he says just like we don't need more laws, he's like, we don't need more special counselors or special investigators. We need the normal process to occur. There's this mountain of evidence. You were being indicted. I don't care who you are, what your net worth is, and really for DC, what office you held. You committed egregious crimes. You are going to be prosecuted and sent to prison. And right now, just like the freaking Hunger Games, they are committing these crimes with impunity. Everyone knows the felonies that Hillary Clinton has committed. And I'm not talking about the ideas that people have about her having people bumped off. I'm talking about the stuff that we know she did. We know she directed, she improperly stored classified information. And I'm not talking about our government overclassifies. That's my opinion. As a security professional, I have told every government stakeholder that I get an audience with that we overclassify and it poses a security issue. For people on the inside, like anyway, I'm not talking about Biden's, I don't know the substance of the stuff that the classified documents Biden had in his garage. I imagine that it was probably a little bit of a nothing burger. We do know the substance of the classified information that Trump took with him that was very likely declassified. And there's been a lot of lying about that. The substance of that is this stuff is not detrimental to the loss of these materials is not detrimental to. It does not pose exceptionally grave harm to the United States. That's definitionally top secret is likely to cause exceptionally grave damage. Hillary Clinton stuff caused exceptionally grave damage and is causing exceptionally grave damage right now and likely into the future. People don't even know what all the State Department is into. Nothing's going to happen. Yeah. I would like to see Kash not go after these people, do his job as top cop of the federal bureaucracy and prosecute people.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Please do. Please do. That is all I want for Christmas, Kash Patel.
I want those people. We don't need to find new crimes. We've discovered ever since Trump came down that freaking escalator, was it 2016?
Yeah.
We have seen the craziest things about our political elites come to light, about the crimes that they're committing with impunity, so much so that in broad daylight, they're just pardoning each other now. You get a pardon, you get a pardon. They're proactively or preemptively pardoning each other before they're even charged at this point. That's how scummy these people are.
I know. They're like, we're going to pardon you for the things we know about, but just an overarching pardon for anything that might happen after Trump gets in the White House and they actually start digging into your past. Like, we're just going to do overarching pardons right now. It's insane.
I wish I could highlight this. This one kind of in the middle is, this is what they said. Trump saved nuclear secrets at Mar-a-Lago. That was obviously false. And it was born out of the mainstream media pundits. We don't know what this information is. It could be, one of them said, it could be nuclear secrets. And then the rest of them just ran with it. No. Trump did not have But that's not even how our like nuclear armaments work. Like if you're not up to speed on that stuff for a period of days, your information is no good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Do you know what Ghost of Kiev is? I don't even know what that's about.
I don't know what that one is.
All right. Muslim travel ban. That was fun. He banned people of all nations, not just Muslim nations. Oh, don't say gay bill. That was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you get vaccinated, you won't catch COVID. That one's kind of sad. Yeah. Cloth mask prevent. Okay, I'm not going to read any more virus ones because I don't know what YouTube's doing these days. Trump overfed the koi fish in Japan. Why, mainstream media? Why did you guys bend over backwards to promote these lies? He did the same thing that Japan's president did.
That was so ridiculous.
Oh man, honorable mention. The mostly peaceful protest video with the building and car on fire. Yeah. That needs to get promoted to the top of the list. I think that's the best one. I didn't read these before. I just pinned it.
Yeah. Well, and the crazy thing is like how many of these has been repeatedly debunked? Like these have been discredited so many times, but so many of these things were things that Kamala Harris was saying in her debate with Trump, like still hurling these things out there. And it was just,
oh yeah. What is it? Covington kids. Yeah. They're still saying that.
Yep. Well, and the very fine people thing, they're still saying that.
Do you not know? Have you not heard?
Right. And it doesn't matter how many times you show them the direct evidence that it wasn't true. The mass psychosis is astonishing.
Oh man, this one is so good. Like 10 up from the bottom. Trump used tear gas to clear a crowd for a Bible photo. This is what pisses me off about that. They'll say that and they'll prop up the images of the people being dispersed, but they won't say any of the other things that happen at that same event. These mostly peaceful protesters, they tried to burn down a church and a federal building. They caused like a red alert at the White House. The president had to be evacuated to the bunker or whatever, wherever they put him. I don't know if he actually went to the bunker or if they just got him out of there. But Secret Service has reported and DHS has reported that they had to evacuate the president, and they're saying, "Oh, he just wanted to take a picture," and they used tear gas to. That's okay. I get in trouble for saying this word a lot, but I'm going to say it. That's retarded. You don't throw tear gas in a spot that you're about to go stand to take a photo because you would tear gas yourself. This is ridiculous. Like, how dumb do you have to be to even believe that?
Right.
Oh,
Right.
man.
Oh, I know.
And I know it still hurts some people's feathers, but January 6th was an insurrection. Look, guys, were there some crimes committed? Yeah, there were a little bit of crimes committed. And I'm starting to lose a lot of right-wingers because they're like, anyone who assaults a law enforcement officer like that deserves the... No, they don't deserve to be put in solitary confinement and not charged and have their First and Fourth and Fifth and Eighth Amendments just trampled on. They still get due process. They still get to face their accusers. They still get to be charged with a crime and then have their day in court and not be held in solitary confinement. Even if they attack a police officer. If I go outside and attack a police officer right now today, I am supposed to have my day in court. They are the state or the federal state is supposed to prove that I did this beyond a shadow of a doubt to a jury of my peers, and then I'm supposed to be sentenced. What has gone on with the J6ers is completely unconstitutional. Honestly, I don't care if they did an insurrection. They didn't. If they did, there is a criminal code for that. They need to be arrested, charged, and proven guilty or found not guilty because they don't say innocent.
Has anyone actually been charged with insurrection?
No. I'm so glad you asked that. They're pulling the same crap that they pulled with Trump's mystery case that if you think he's guilty, if you think he's done any one of this pool of 34 other crimes, that he's guilty of a mystery crime. They're doing that where they're saying we can get people on conspiring to do any number of things. If you think that they've done any of these other things, then they're guilty of conspiracy to commit what? There's a big pool. There's a big pool of things that they can choose from. No one is being charged with insurrection, and no one is being charged with conspiracy to commit insurrection. They're being charged with trespassing, conspiracy to incite violence, and all of these ancillary crimes. But that word conspiracy shows up in most everyone's charging document, like the Proud Boy guy who wasn't there. He got charged with like conspiracy to incite violence or some. They're getting real creative. They got some creative attorneys out here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So, yeah, it's a little bit scary. I'm glad that Trump is coming in and saying that he's going to pardon these people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Merry Christmas to you, Armor 15. I see your comments. They are very thoughtful. Let's not forget about Hillary and her crime against humanity. I mean, which one? Hillary's
Right.
gone
You're gonna have to
all.
be more specific.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, I think Hillary's cackle is a crime against humanity, but what do I know? It looks like a cop giving a hug to a prisoner. Oh, the Mangione picture.
Mhm.
Uh, it's all very weird. Yeah, I don't think we need to talk about the Disney thing. Is it on here? Yeah. Unless you want to, the Are We Winning the Culture? No, let's talk about it and then be done.
Okay, well, we'll touch on it real quick in case you guys are wondering what's going on with Disney, because I know you are.
Yeah, so Disney's always making big gay content, and apparently one of their child companies, Pixar, has just announced that they are dropping the transgender storyline from their animated series, which is obviously for kids. Hint, hint there, called Win or Lose. So my question is, yeah, I mean, when it's a show like this, there doesn't need to be any sexuality at all, let alone weird sexual proclivities. But my question is, are we winning the culture war? And if so, what do we do with this momentum? Or because what happens historically is we just hold tight. We don't move at all. We don't exercise any authority. We don't use power. And then the pendulum shifts and the left keeps sprinting towards Crazy Town.
Mm-hmm.
What say you?
When Disney has a long way to go to regain people's trust. I think sometimes when it comes to people on the left, when it comes to these woke ideologues, they're trying to push these ideas into like every nook and cranny of society. Sometimes they look and they're like, okay, we've gone too far. We're losing too many people. We're losing too much of our bottom line. We're going to lose our ability to create this kind of content at all. So we've got to pull back the reins sometimes and make it seem like, okay, we hear you. We're gonna make this move and try to draw people back in. So I'm looking at something like this, and as much as I appreciate it, it's like, first of all, this should have never been in this content in the first place. But second of all, I don't believe you. Like, I don't believe these people when they come back and they say, oh, well, maybe we're seeing the light. Like, because I think in one of the articles or one of the statements, basically they said that, oh, there are things that parents want to be able to talk to their kids about. And it's like,
yeah,
no kidding. Like, we've been saying this for how long now? And it's kind of like with Walmart recently coming out and saying that they're going to get rid of all of their DEI stuff. And it's like, I think that the ideas are still there. I think that those things are still rooted in your company. I think you're looking at your bottom line and you're like, okay, we've got to back off a little bit so people like at least start to buy our product again. But do I think it's genuine? No.
It just goes underground. It's not part of their advertising and their customer facing policy, but they're still doing all the DEI stuff. They're just seeing, it's like we're playing freeze tag, and they know when they're not freeze tag. Is it red light, green light, 1, 2, 3 or whatever? And they know when they need to, like, hey, we're going to hold what we got. Maybe we take a little baby step back, because they turn their crazy meter up to 11 all the time, because it's not like, they're not like, well, maybe we try some adult relationships in children movies. Maybe we try adult scenarios in children movies. They kick that person out. They're like, we need to go full trains. It needs to be sex, and it needs to be debaucherous and crazy. Let's not test it in a small pilot. Let's go wall to wall. Because why? It's a children's series. Oh man. Charlie Brown, most popular cartoon of its day, no relationships, period. Well, except for Charlie Brown's little sister's crush on Linus, and Lucy had a crush on Charlie. No, who calls Charlie Brown, her sweet babu. Whatever that character's name is.
I thought Sally calls Linus their sweet babu, but maybe it was like Peppermint Patty. Is that her name with the red hair that like Charlie Brown? I don't know. I could be wrong.
No, I thought she hated Charlie Brown. So they were like, Charlie Brown, there were like 2 crushes. Okay. That's it. No weirdness, no inappropriate situations ever.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. No, I completely agree. No, I don't trust these people. I don't trust them when they say we're pulling back a little bit. It's still very much ingrained in their culture. And, as you said, they've turned the crazy meter up to 11 how many different times, and it's not like our messaging has changed. Most of us the reason that your bottom line is suffering is because we're all saying we don't want this crap in the material, in the content, or in the products we buy. We don't want to support businesses that push this stuff. So it's not like this is new that they're like, oh, parents are saying, that they don't want their kids exposed to this stuff. Like, this is new revelation. It's like, guys, we're not stupid. So my biggest hope is that people don't fall for it. It's like, don't give in to these people. And it's not only that, like, even when they're backing off and they're like, well, we're not going to include this in our content, they still have their actors and actresses out there pushing the same things. They're like, maybe this character is gay. Maybe, Elsa has like a love interest that's a woman or whatever. They're always theorizing that it involves some kind of like LGBTQ agenda. So even like you said, if it's not directly in the content, it's in the culture somewhere. It's being pushed in some way. So it's like, guys, we know who you are. You've shown us who you are, and we believe you.
That goes double for school boards. School boards, all of 2020, all of 2021. All we were saying is we want to talk to our children about these topics. Not that they should be completely forbidden. They should be forbidden for you thrusting it on our kids. So that's the show, ladies and gentlemen. That's the last show of the year. I'll look forward to whatever that first Thursday. Actually, I might be back second Thursday of the new year. Let's see. Let's go. Oh man,
want to put up your calendar again?
I can't. Yeah. I'm in the big calendar now, too. This is the juicy one. Look at all these events. Oh, my gosh. My wife is going... Well, okay, she's not going crazy, but that's a lot of... Thursday the 2nd, I'll be honest. Not high hopes that I'm going to do a show that day. So we will probably be back on... Thursday, January 9th. No. Yeah, we'll definitely be back on Thursday, January 9th. But I am interested in maybe making 1 or 2 standalone YouTube videos. So if you want to see a standalone YouTube video, write a comment about, like, do a video about this. Do a video about those darn drones or whatever. And I will do traditional, 6 to 12 minute YouTube style video because I'm off all the next 2 weeks and I get bored. Samantha, anything you want to shout out?
No, I mean, definitely go over to my channel. I am, as I look, I'm so excited because I've been working towards this 10,000 subscriber goal for a while. And I don't know why it's like such a big deal because ultimately, I just love it when people watch the views. I just love it when people watch the videos and leave comments and whatnot, but I would love to reach that milestone. I need 149 more subscribers.
Oh, man. Yeah, you're so close.
Obviously, like, my goal is to make content that people actually want to watch and not just to have subscribers for the sake of having subscribers. So, but I would love your support. I try and upload videos at least like 2 or 3 times a week. It might be a little slower for the next couple weeks, but I'm interested in what people want to talk about. And I talk about a lot of different things.
Some videos go bonkers lately because I saw one, it was like 14,000. I don't see it right now. Oh, this one is 25. Look at you go.
Well, it's always so funny because the ones where I'm reacting to liberal craziness, those are always the ones that get the most views. And then I get people that are complaining. They're like, I'm so tired of people talking about this. And I'm like, it's what attracts people to the channel. So, it is what it is. And they're just fun to mock. So
Fafo. Cracks me up that you did a video on on Fafo. Adamant progressive churches. That's a big topic, like a whole Joe
probably
Mobley
more than 6
show.
minutes.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do a surface level video on progressive churches. Man, there's so much. But
Well,
yeah, that could be fun.
I've been fascinated with the occult and Hollywood progressive age religion. So I'm like, I want to talk about that, but I think I might need more than a 10-minute video.
Whoa, yeah. Ugh, Hollywood. Okay, I don't want to get into another topic. I wanted to get out of here by 10, and so I blew it because I can't stop talking. Well, that's all we got. Oh, you have a drone video. Go watch Samantha's drone video.
I have 2.
What? Oh, you do. Look at that. I didn't do a drone video. Sometimes I don't get in trouble, but sometimes I get asked to just steer away from national security type stories for reasons. All right. Anyway, that's all we got. We will see you guys next month, and keep the suggestions coming. Write it in a comment, because 1, the comments won't go away, and 2, it's good for the algorithm. So shoot a comment, and shoot comments below on Samantha's video about things that you want to see her do videos about. That is all we got. We will see you in the next one. Bye.
Merry